Hi, this is Lisa from Punk Creation and welcome back. So it's been a few days now since I've posted part 4 of the Steampunk journal, and I've got a few ideas in my head, but I haven't worked on it because I wanted to work on it with you. So we're just going to open it up. Now, I wasn't happy with the join here in this paper. So what I've done is I've cut 2 pieces of fabric. I've adhered that one just now on that side, and I've got the other one just here, and I've ironed them. I've pressed them down, and I'm just going to pop that there. And as you can see, because the edge is nice and frayed, it tones into that paper and it just finishes off that section. So let's do that first. So once you've done the main piece of your, the main bulk of your journal, you may then want to just add bits if you're not happy. And you may even, as you're going through your bits and pieces in your craft rooms, just find something you think, actually, that would look absolutely amazing. And that's the good thing about these journals, is they don't ever have to end. You can just keep adding them to them until you're happy. So that's in. It will take a few minutes to dry, and then that will dry nice and clear. So if you remember, we've got this fold out piece here. Now I've been planning the bits that I want in here, so I'll just run through that with you now first thing. So across this front here, I wanted a piece of paper either going down that way to have a pocket in there, or I was thinking we could have a pocket here ready for our little book to go in. So if you remember last time I was with you, we were going to make one of these books. You can see it there. So I'm thinking now we could do a pocket so that book could then just slide in the front there. Okay, so I think we're going to do that. On the inside, I've already prepared these papers. Now, this is a piece of Tim Holtz from the French Industrial Collection, and it ties in perfectly, I think, with the steampunk. You've got the machinery in the background, you've got the ledgers, you've got the gentleman there. So this was just one piece of 6x6. I teared it, and how I teared it was I popped the 6x6 down on there and just worked out roughly the section that I wanted to tear, drew a very faint pencil and then teared it, and then used distress ink around the edges, if you can see that. So that will go there like so, and then this one I thought could go on this side, on this page here, just there. So that's those bits. And then in the centre here, I have prepared this sheet here. Now I'm going to show you quickly how I do that, or I'm going to explain how I do that. So this was a piece of book text, okay, and it was from the Manufacturing of Leather book, and it is very old. It was printed in 1912, and so that's a piece of that. I've teared it the size I wanted it, and then distressed the edges. And then, to get the cogs on the top, I then used this stencil here. Okay, just see where it's from. I've got quite a few of these. This is Dali Art. Okay, I'll put the link in the description box below. I placed it on the book page. Okay, and then I use this. It's PowerTex Easy Structure. So it's a structure paste, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it looks like that. You just go over your stencil, okay, And then I dry mine. You can wait for it to dry naturally, or you can just dry it with a heat gun. So that's what I did, just because I'm very impatient. Dry this with a heat gun, and then I sprayed it with this. And this is again from Powertex. It's called Bista. Again, I'll put a link in the description box below. Spray it on, and again, heat dry it. And that's the effect that you get. Isn't it beautiful? And it really tones in well with my background. So that is going to go on that piece there. I have then got this. Now this is from, let me just show you. This is from this die here. I don't know if you can see that. So it's a Tim Holtz die. Run it through your Big Shot and you end up with this. So this I'm going to place on here. And the idea then is you run glue down the outside, and then you can use this as to put your tickets and things in. Okay. And then I've got a Tim Holtz chap to go, one of his paper dolls. Thought he would look really cool on there. And then I've got some other bits and pieces just to go around the outside. So let's get to work. So is that, that's absolutely fine, isn't it? So I've got some score tape here. So we're just going to start off by adhering this one here. Just going to run a bit of double-sided tape down there. And a piece going all the way down that section there. So just take off the backing of these. I don't have a bin next to my desk, so I literally just throw these on the floor. That's not great, is it? Right, so we're just going to pop that just there, and that creates a nice little tuck spot up there for us. I'm going to do the same here, but I think I want to just distress this sheet first. How is everybody today? We're just getting out of a storm here in Gloucester. It's been absolutely horrendous weather. We've had thunder and lightning, torrential rain, and it's been pretty rubbish for the last couple of days. So much so that everything's flooded. Right, so we're going to pop some glue down there and down there, so we'll do that now. Oh, I didn't do that very well, did I? Gosh, right. Okay, so if I take the backing off there, I can then fold it, make that look a little bit neater. So we're going to stick that one on there, and then I just want to do those edges with the Distress ink there. So that creates then a decent sized tuck spot in there. Okay, so onto this piece here. Now this Paratex structure paste is excellent for going over stencils and things. It doesn't clog, it is really easy to use. You have to wash your stencils immediately because it does dry hard, and then you've got an awful job to get your stencil clean. But just run it under water, and I always keep a rag with me anyway, and you can just wipe off the excess and it's fine, absolutely fine. So then we're going to just run a bead of glue up the sides here. And on this Tim Holtz die, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's a fake stitch there. I think that's so cute. I think that's so, so cool. So we've got a bead of glue going all the way around. I'm just going to pop that in the middle there. Okay. Make sure it's straight, otherwise it will drive you absolutely bananas. And we've got our paper doll here, again by Tim Holtz. I don't think I could have done a steampunk journal without including many of his wonderful craft pieces, because they just look so cool. I'd like it so that this chap looks like he's sort of got his hand on the top there. Does that work? Looks like he's floating in midair, but what I might do is I've got this salvage thing. Look good if he could look like he was standing on something. However, sorry, I'm thinking out loud now, because if I've stuck that there, can that still go inside? It could, couldn't it? That would be really good. I wanted to include this word on here, but I think if I could do it so it looked like he was standing on there, that would be great. So just a little bit of double-sided tape just on this section here, and then it's not going to interfere at all with the bits there, is it? There we go. That looks really good. Right, now I'm just going to ink this. I should have done this before, but I completely forgot. However, I quite like that, how it's blending into the green there of the Bista, of the Paratex Bista. Right, so also on this sheet here, we've got the label that goes in the centre there. I'm not going to bother with this bit right at the moment. I might leave that and for another time, because I don't know where I want it. However, I know I want this metal cog in the corner, so I'm going to pop that just in the corner there. And as I showed you before, we have these paper cogs, again from Tim Holtz. Let's use this bit of scrap just to colour these up. Okay, there's one. And there's two. So let's just work out how we're going to have these. I think just on top of each other like that. So a little bit of glue just there. A tad more just in the corner, in the centre I should say. Just place that down. And then I've got a wooden nut here. And this is from a Powertech set I had. When you purchase Powertech sets and little kits, you always end up with the odd, you know, the middle of the, if you've got an MDF piece, you then get the cutout. Well, this is part of that cutout. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that now to one side. You can see that there. Just going to pop it to one side to dry whilst we do this little book. So what I've done ahead of time, just to save a little bit of time, I've cut out the pieces that I need. Now, if you remember, we used the top part of this paper in one of the pages in our signatures. So it's a Tim Holtz from the French Industrial collection again, and we're going to use this as the insert to our book, and we're just going to cover the book with a piece of the coffee dyed paper. Now this paper is it's from an old notebook that I found at my nan's house, so I know that it's at least sort of 40 years old at least. So I have some Project Life cards, and this isn't my style at all, so I'm using this as the base. Okay, so I'm going to just pop some glue on here, like so, covering it with a piece of this coffee dyed. And all I did was put the Project Life card on the coffee dyed and then ripped it to the size I needed. I wanted it to be quite rustic, so I didn't worry about cutting it perfectly. Okay, and then we're going to fold that in half. Okay, and then the same goes for the inside. So we're just going to stick that piece on the inside. Now with these journals, I think it's really important to be able to use as much of the paper pack as you can. If you've spent a lot of money on these papers, you want to use it. You don't want to not be able to use all of it because you don't quite know what to do with the scraps, or the scraps aren't really good enough for anything in your books. So little things like this are perfect just to use up those bits. Okay, gonna ink it up round, I'm dropping everything now, ink it up round the outside. Like so. I'm going to fold that in half. Okay, right, now I've chosen this tag here from the Stamperia Voyages collection that I'm using, and I'm just going to, with my crocodile, put a hole in the top there. I'm then going to use a eyelet so that I can create a proper tag for this. Punch that. I'm going to round the corners of my tag. Everything's falling over on my desk, so please excuse the noise. Okay, we're going to ink up adjust it really quickly. Probably go over on this again off camera. And then this is going to go on the top. So this hasn't been inked, has it? I like that really distressed. Now this, hopefully this snail will dry. It's where the glue is still quite wet, where I'm working quite quickly. Put some tape just on the back. So tape's on the back, and then we're just going to stick that on the front like that. Then I'm just going to get a tiny piece of string and just, I wasn't going to do this actually on the tag, but I think it looked quite sweet. So pop that through the top there. Okay, so to the inside, I've got here some tea dyed paper. So all we're going to do is we're going to measure roughly, and this is just a rough measurement, how wide we want it. Okay, so I'm going to fold it on that pencil mark there. And I'm going to just rip it. I want the rough edge there. So we're going to pop it next to it there, just to get the rough size. And again, we're going to rip it. I like the rough edges. Okay, so that's 2. Doesn't matter that it's slightly narrower. So that's 3. Is that going to be enough? No, I think I'd like another one. So again, we're going to... So when I tea dyed all the papers for my journal, I did a few extras for these little books. So it's all about, it's all in the planning, but it's all in the, when you're trying to think ahead if you can, try to imagine how you want your journal to look so that you can do all your tea dyeing together and you can do all your bits and pieces together. Okay. Actually, whilst I have this opportunity, I just want to say hi to Teresa from my pen pal group. I was chatting to her last night and she was saying how inspired she felt to do her own journal, and that touched me. So big hi there to Teresa in Alabama in the US of A. So we're just going to cut that across the bottom, put them to one side. Now I'm just going to quickly, very quickly, ink up these pages here. So these are all inked up now. So I'm just going to put them together how I want them. And then all we're going to do is staple them in the top. Sorry, staple them into this cover like that. And that is it. But in a journal, that just adds that extra bit of note taking space, and it just adds that cute little element. And you can do these in this way. So what I've done here is I've just put the tea dye paper in and then tied it with a piece of string like we would do a regular signature, or obviously the note page that we've just done. So this one this side is all finished. So we're just going to put that banner on there. So we come in with this piece. This was the leftovers from the cover, so we're not wasting anything. So that needs to be, let's grab my ruler here. So that needs to be 3.5 inches wide, but I also want to stick on there 2 lips so that I can fold it. And I've lost my scoreboard. Okay, let's not worry about that right now. It's all in the planning, isn't it? Losing my scoreboard. Right. So it needs to be 2.5. So that would be here. That doesn't look wide enough. Check twice, cut once. 3.5. Memory like a sieve. So 3.5 is there. I want 2 half-inch lips, so I want to cut it at 4.5. So that's there. So normally at this point I would get my scoreboard out and I would score half an inch from either end, but I have absolutely no idea where my scoreboard is. So I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and just put a mark there and there. This is great because actually if you don't have a scoreboard, not everybody has a scoreboard, so if you don't have a scoreboard you can do it this way, just by using a ruler. There we go, that's worked fine, isn't it? Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to pop a little bit of double-sided tape on there and on there. Take the back off and stick this onto there. Now before I started filming I did distress all of the edges. Okay, that's my style, that's what I like to do. You don't have to do that. If you like it a bit more clean cut than that, you don't have to. And then that can just slip nicely into there. Oh, perfect. That's worked so well. I was worried that by putting this into here, for example, it would just be too bulky, and it is, and it is. So actually, that's worked incredibly well. So that can go in there. So that's done. We might add something on the bottom here, maybe, if I've got some scraps left over. We've got this wonderful Tim Holtz thing here that we can just stick tags, and again, any scraps that we have left over, not that this is a scrap, if we've got any scraps left over right at the very end, we can then pop these in here. Fabulous. And then we've got this tuck spot in there. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell so you don't miss any of my installments on these journals and my other projects going on as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.